Hi, how's it going? I'm Marlene. Thanks for wandering by. So today we are continuing on in our hashtag October Deck Fest, and I have trotted out, I have paraded in front of you a lot of decks so far. I think at the end of the month, I'm gonna give you like a count of the number of decks that crossed the camera lens this month, and also let you know, of course, in my monthly wrap up, the decks that I really like actually worked with the most. And I will, spoiler, there's decks that really surprised me this month. But anyway, something I haven't done since I first started the month off, kicked off the month with the hashtag Seance Circle Spread, is I started October Deck Fest with a reading, and I haven't done a reading again since then. So what I'd like to do today is just that. I'd like to do a reading. And this time I want to use Oracle decks. So I'm calling this, October Oracles. Ooh, October Oracles. So I have a couple of them you've already seen, but I have then four more new to October Deck Fest, not like new to me or new in general, decks to show you. And we are going to be using a spread from the Seasons of the Witch Samhain Oracle. I rave about all of these decks, and I rave about the guidebook specifically for the spreads that are in the guidebook. It's really my favorite. I often do spreads from these guidebooks, okay? So let's go through the decks real quick, and then we'll do the spread. And this is gonna be a reading for me, but feel free to take it if it works for you, if like they say, if it resonates for you. But yeah, let's go through the decks real quick. So we have here, of course, the Seasons of the Witch Samhain Oracle. Do I need to show this off to you again? I don't mind looking at it. I definitely don't mind looking at it plenty of times. But this is definitely the staple, and it has been the staple for 4 years now. How long? 3 or 4 years at the very least. These two I haven't used yet this October, but I've definitely used, before. Oops, I still have the guidebook hanging out with her. The Bad Girl Oracle. I'm going to keep the guidebook just in case, because sometimes there's really good stuff in there. So this is an indie deck, and it is an archetype deck. And you'll see why I think that this is a good deck for, here's why. This is a good deck for October. We have the Witch. I think there's also the Vampire in here, the Magical Girl, the Coquette, the Demon Mother. This is such a, let me flip past the ones that are, risque. The Vampire, the Spinster, this is the Final Girl, It's got horror, gothic, archetype vibes, as well as some others in here. It's so good. This is just such a good deck. I really, really enjoyed it. And I think it's going to be perfect for the goth, and it's going to be perfect for the spread that I've chosen to do. And I'll talk more about that in just a moment. And then not lastly, this is the third deck, but we're going to use 6 decks total. This is, here's the box. So this is Deep, Dark, and Dangerous Oracle by Stacey DeMarco. I used to have a bunch of Stacey DeMarco decks. And look at this one with the red gilding. And I've since rehomed all of them. No, all but 2 of them. The only 2 that I've kept are this one, the Deep, Dark, and Dangerous, and the Queen of the Moon, I want to say, the Queen of the Moon Oracle. And for whatever reason, this one maybe it's because it has like the creatures, some of the creatures from like Greek mythology. Like it crosses different pantheons, which I don't necessarily mind, but I think it's the artwork sometimes that gets me, that I sometimes just doesn't work for me. Like this one, like this, like I really need to just take this. I hate this card, but I love the idea of a Selkie. Yeah, I just hate this card a lot because it's just like, ugh. But I do like I like the werewolf card, you know, I like some of the other things in here. So I haven't rehomed this one because I think it might still be useful. It's not going to be a deck that I like pull out all the time, but I do think because it's got the, you know, like the monsters and the quote unquote villains and like the, you know, more fantastical creatures, that it definitely works. It has Persephone, like this is a, you know, this is the time of year for Persephone. Not that there is any time of year that isn't, but like specifically, you know, the fall and the spring. Anyways, you know, dragon, like it's, I don't know. I've kept it and I think I'm glad, question mark. We'll see when we get into this reading here. This deck I just showed recently. It's the Magical Botanical Oracle by Maxine Miller, and I think all the writing, yes, is Christopher Penzek. That's the author that I was talking about before that is really like well known. I've never read anything else except this guidebook from Christopher Penzek. So if you have recommendations, please let me know. Anyway, this is a, you know, it's what it says on the box. It's Magical Botanical. It looks like a grimoire. It has the names of the plant and, you know, botanicals on the card. And really you need the guidebook in order to work with this deck. And I've edged mine. Yeah, I haven't edged any of the others. These are gilded in red. That one, I kind of want to edge it in black at some point. And this one I just did in like these little different like golds and browns and blacks to match, I don't know, the backs. Yeah, to match the backs. So then another deck, Oracle deck, that I haven't paraded in front of you just yet this October is, well, for me, this seems more like a, oh, sorry, I'm getting the box. This seems more like a Oracle than a tarot. I know it says Hieronymus Bosch Tarot on the box. This is by Travis McHenry. I always forget that this is by Travis McHenry. I don't have any other of Travis McHenry's decks. Anyway, the Bosch Tarot, it does not read like a tarot to me. It has, I mean, I guess it has the majors in it, but the minor system is wild. There's tons of like suits. There's like, I don't know, 6 different suits. And then it doesn't have numbered cards. It only has like the aces and then like a bunch of different renamed court cards. This is not a tarot to me. It's like a completely different system. So I just use this as an oracle. I really love like the surreal, creepy, you know, I mean, look at humanity that Bosch gives us, and in these like little zoomed in sections of his artwork. I just think it's like weird. I think it's creepy. I think it's perfect for, you know, like shadow work or the dark months of the year, as folks say. And also specifically, I think this is a good this time of year deck is what I'm saying. And I think it'll work specifically for this reading that I'm about to do. It's so funny to me because I was just, you know, looking and thinking about some of my favorite decks and like I'm still blown away that so many of the things that I really like now are curated art decks, which I would never have thought that that would have been something I would have enjoyed when I first started getting into collecting tarot decks and reading tarot. So crazy to me, but you know, the heart wants what the heart wants. Anyway, so that's the Hieronymus Bosch Tarot, which is really an oracle in my mind. And then we have finally, okay, this deck is out of print and perhaps it's still difficult to get, but I'm not sure. I think there's still, I think you can still get it relatively easily in all the, you know, in all the places that you can look. But this is the I Ching of the Goddess. This is a deck by Barbara Walker. And I definitely think that you can use this just straight up as an oracle deck. Oh my God. So cheeky. But something about Barbara Walker's artwork is, it's of this time for me, right? It's of this like very specific witchy October, Samhain, Halloween time. It also feels like, yeah, very fantastical, mythological. So Barbara Walker, if you read, you know, her guidebook, she really gets into, you know, mythology. But you can definitely just use this, I mean, she gets into mythology? Well, misogyny, yes, and mythology. So mythology, she has a very specific like lens and perspective that I find like really interesting. And I don't always agree with her, and sometimes I'm like, what? But often I find it really refreshing. And Barbara Walker, from what I understood when I was attempting to study I Ching, oh my gosh, that's like a whole rabbit hole that I'd have to go down again. But like when I was attempting to study I Ching, Barbara Walker follows a different like order of the hexagrams than what I've seen in most other I Ching decks. It doesn't follow the same like numbered order. So yeah, there's that. Like, look at these cards. Oh my God, so good. So I think we could definitely use this. I didn't grab her guidebook, but I might need it. But I think we could just manage with our keywords and definitely the image. Good Lord. Words. It's early in the morning. This totally makes me think of Disney's Fantasia. If I can find an image, I'll insert that here too. But yeah, that's what it makes me think of. Okay, so let's start the reading. Okay, so like I said, we're gonna use a spread from the Seasons of the Witch Samhain Oracle. And the spread that I chose is the transformation spread. And the transformation is very much on the nose for this time of year. We are in Scorpio season. Scorpio is connected to the death card in the tarot. So transformation is definitely a theme across Samhain for sure, and this time of year, especially seasonally, if you experience that, like, you know, with the way that things are going on outside your home, outside there. But also there, for me, I picked this because I think I talked about this earlier this month, but I'm definitely feeling a shedding of the skin sort of feeling. Like I'm changing, like something is changing about me. I can pinpoint some things and not others, and I really want to explore that a little bit more. So this is a 6-card spread, and we're going to use 6 different decks, but you don't have to. In fact, you could just use the Seasons of the Witch Samhain for this, or any other decks that you choose. Okay. So we're going to start with the Seasons of the Witch because that's the deck that is kicking this whole thing off. So the first question is, what's changing in my life right now? Oh, wow. What's changing in my life right now? Divination. Take a breath, take it twice. Insightful reflections are guided by light. So, I mean, I'm taking this almost literally to mean possibly two things. A, that I am like on the right track for doing a reading in order to work on this, but also that my practice might be changing. And I actually kind of sort of feel that things in my practice might be changing. Interesting. Okay, that is really fascinating to me right now. Okay, so then the next card is, oh, well, yeah, why is this happening? I love a good why is this happening position. I often ask the cards this, why is this happening? So for this one, why is this happening? We're going to, I think we're going to go with the Deep, Dark, and Dangerous Oracle for why is this happening. I think that might give us the creature, the monster, the idea. I think that might be a good choice for this. So for why is this happening, we got choice, Valkyrie. Oh, that's really interesting. I know about a little bit about Valkyries, but it's definitely like, I guess they are dangerous. The Valkyries are definitely dangerous, but I know that they are the ones that take the warriors to Valhalla. I don't really know enough about Valkyries. Maybe we should go into the guidebook a little bit, but choice. So, I mean, immediately that's making me think like, this is my call. Like, this is up to me. I'm changing because I want to. I'm changing because I want to. And it's not like because I have to, which is really interesting because the last couple years, I want to say the last 3 to 5 years, change has been coming without my intention. It just happened. So, and I had to, figure out life around it. But maybe now it's more of a choice. Okay, I know that this is a difficult book to read from because of the way that it's set up. So forgive me. See, look, it's got this skin in the background, so it's hard to read. You have, oh my goodness, I'm gonna need to get my, hold on. I have a little magnifying glass that I'm gonna use. Okay, I'm gonna do that off camera because otherwise it would be reflecting too much, I think, in the camera. So the Valkyries were the choosers of the slain. Okay, all right. So the Valkyries were the choosers, not that the warriors, that the Vikings, had a choice, but the Valkyries themselves were the ones who were choosing. So, okay, so my interpretation of my reading is still working for me because I'm choosing this change and it's not put upon me. That's very good. I like that. I feel like that hasn't happened in my life in a while. Okay, so then the next card position is, what can I learn from this change? What can I learn from this change? And I think here we might want to use the magical botanical. Okay, that's what's next. What can I learn? Before I even turn this card over, I was gonna say, I forgot to say that I wanted to do all oracle because I rarely read with all oracle decks, and the Seasons of the Witch decks are the ones that got me into doing the spreads with that deck only, and it's one of the gateways that I had into reading just with oracle, which I think I prefer tarot. But anyway, interesting how my divination, my practice is changing. And yeah, so what am I going to learn from this change? We have, is that Hensbane? It's number 12. Oh, that's funny. That's a special number to me, number 12. I have to look up what that is. So we're going to break out the guidebook for this one as well, which I don't usually do for most readings, or I don't need to necessarily for tarot, but you know, you do for oracle. But I like this guidebook, so it's, I'm not gonna read the whole thing to you, but let's look up number 12. Okay, 12, we have Henbane. That gives you the Latin name. The planets are Saturn and Jupiter. How strange, because I couldn't think of more opposing planets, Saturn and Jupiter, and Earth and water. Okay, but those are complementary, Earth and water. Okay, Henbane. So I feel like I want to just go to the divination meaning, and at least for this moment. So when Henbane appears in a reading, you're called to see things differently, looking at the whole arc of the past, present, and future for a complete picture. The card speaks to the ancient mysteries of Delphi, where the Pythia, or oracular priestess, was said to be at the center of the world and would see all things to give her divine pronouncement. The Pythia was the first priestess of Gaia and later Apollo, and all are associated with the serpent, the python, for the Pythia is often translated as Pythoness. Occultists today see it as a reference to the psychic power within manifesting as a serpent. The psychic power within manifesting as a serpent. You might find yourself gaining access to reserves of power or inspiration found in your ancestral lineage and an awakening to a deeper power and insight. Along with it might be other ancestral gifts passed to you that have been forgotten. Aptitudes within you will be awakened. And then I like this affirmation. I don't usually, but I like affirmations, but I like this. I welcome and accept my ancestral inheritance. How interesting, because I've been thinking about, generational trauma and ancestral lineage, and this is definitely the time of year for that. But I feel like I've been thinking about it as like what I need to get over or get past or heal from or change. I have not been considering all the things that give me strength and power and, psychic insight. Interesting. Awakening to a deeper power and insight. So that's what I'm going to learn. I'm excited for that. I think that's really cool. By the way, there's definitely a image that seems to be repeating here. The face, it seems very similar across all three of these cards. That's really cool too. And yeah, we have the serpent here. Gotta love a serpent, really. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, so let's move on to the next spread position, which says, what obstacle will I face with this change? What obstacle will I face with this change? So I think maybe it's time to pull out Barbara Walker, I Ching of the Goddess, because I do think that that's a really good deck for obstacles. Okay, so for what obstacle will I face or reface with this change is, one, air over air. Heaven, air, sky, authority. Well, this is giving me big time, Ouranos vibes from Greek mythology, but just like, sky daddy sort of heaven. Yeah, like the, yeah, Uranus. That's all I can think here, really. I don't want to grab the guidebook on this one. I really just want to look at this. Because I just, yeah, I already feel like I understand what's happening here. So my practice is changing because I'm choosing that. And my practice, my spirituality, like my path, like the things that I'm, essentially for me, like things that I'm learning about myself, are changing because I'm choosing to explore this and discover this and change up the way that I do things. And I've been on this kind of like looking back at the past, but looking at like the negative things. And I think I need to look towards the things that give me power, that give me insight, that make me feel, or that I've like inherited, that are not negative or not necessarily negative. Like it's not all black and white, but the obstacle could be that like, I'm just thinking, you know, like, first of all, thinking things like, you know, patriarchal stuff, from, you know, my culture, my culture also, and the culture surrounding the religion that I grew up in, Catholicism. So I think that has like a lot to do with this as well, like with the you know, the idea of heaven and stuff. So that I'm sort of breaking away even more intentionally than I did when I was younger, because I'm definitely not practicing Catholic and haven't been for years. But I was, you know, an atheist a long time ago, as well, and that's since changed. Anyway, so I think there's a lot to explore here. I feel like this is more like conceptual, because it's air over air to me. This is more conceptual, and I feel like this is more mind focused, and like opening the door to like, you know, where am I gonna go? It's like, yeah, it's so interesting because there's the, you know, the earth kind of this gateway, and then this is all sky here. There's a lot for me, I think, to discover and explore in here. I don't think that this is just a quick and easy, like everyday sort of answer. It's not like there's going to be a person who's, you know, blocking your way here. Or I don't know, maybe there's too many doors to open, or I'm going to be, I don't know, like I always am, kind of dealing with like dual, with paradox, and with like, you know, two opposing ideas that seem to both be true. I don't know. This just seems like more philosophical and less day to day to me. It's more like the obstacle is going to be more about like my philosophy on life rather than like what I'm doing specifically like in my practice. Like this felt more straightforward. These two anyway. This did feel more straightforward as well. This is becoming quite a long reading, but I hope you guys are just chilling, having fun with me, and maybe reading along with me. Okay, card number 5. How can I deal with this change? How can I deal with this change? So I feel like maybe Hieronymus Bosch Tarot / Oracle is going to be my guy for this one. How can I deal with this change? So we'll shuffle that one. Okay. How can I deal with this change? Oops. Okay. We have the King of Coins, which is interesting. This is one of the cards that does kind of align to the tarot in a way. But under here we have the words, God, in teeny tiny font. You can probably read it on the screen. Hoarding, inheritance, unwillingness to share. So a lot of the Hieronymus Bosch Tarot is like built upon, you know, like I guess I would say what is the title of the painting is the Garden of Earthly Delights. And so we're depicting a lot of, sin, quote unquote, Christian idea of sin. And here, I think a lot of the imagery is gonna lean towards, that kind of thing, which is interesting. Hoarding, inheritance, and unwillingness to share. So how can I deal with those things? Or am I going to be doing those things? Should I avoid those things? Or is this something that is good for me? I got to think about that. So I'm actually going to go into the guidebook for this one. I don't know. You see how fickle I am about guidebooks? Sometimes I want a guidebook. Sometimes I don't want a guidebook. It's in the moment. I do what I feel like doing in the moment. Okay, so let's find coins, because there's a million. So the King of Coins says, this is a pretty guidebook. Hoarding, inheritance, unwillingness to share. So it's describing the picture, the image, which I don't know if this one needs that much explanation, but okay. A frail old man sits in his bed while a gray monster hands him, okay, I thought he was taking it away, hands him a bag of money from behind a red curtain. Although the old man has reached an age where no amount of money will save him, he still reaches for another bag of gold. While his heirs will enjoy this gold, notice that none are present to care for him in his final moments. Okay, well, this is really shadowy. That took a very shadowy turn. This feels like it's the shadow side of the King of Pentacles, or more like maybe King of Pentacles, 10 of Pentacles kind of combined shadow lesson. As the King of Coins, the miser is not an enviable figure because he clings to his money and values it more than his own life. The single-minded quest for money can be a blessing and a curse. A person can grow immensely wealthy, but hoarding wealth engenders enemies and bitterness and will leave the miser to die alone. Acquiring, okay, blah, blah, blah. So this is about being miserly and greedy and inheritance and things like that. I mean, I've got a lot spinning through my head at the moment. I'm not, sorry, I'm laughing because I definitely don't have, at least at this point in my life, a lot to leave behind for my child. And that's definitely something that's on my mind a lot. But I'm trying to think of how this ties into this change in my practice. I guess it might be, more related to this generational stuff and things that I am inheriting. But this is so connected to resources and money that I do feel like this is something that's really, really philosophical as an obstacle. Dealing with it, I guess maybe dealing with this change is going to be much more rooted in practicality in terms of spending. Oh, interesting. I think that's where my mind is going with it. Spending, resources, things. Yeah, things. Makes me think of that Tracy Chapman song, My Mountain of Things. Okay. This kind of threw me for a little bit of a loop. If you guys have ideas, let me know in the comments below. I'm happy to hear what you think. But along this path, I do think that maybe what this is really saying is that while the obstacle might be heady and philosophical and about what I believe, the way to deal with it might be something that needs to be taken care of, like earthly delights. It might need to be taken care of Yeah, earthly delights might need to be looked at. Interesting. Okay, and so for the last card, it's just the outcome, right? Card 6 is the outcome, and I left the bad girl oracle for that because I kind of like the idea of thinking about how like this change is going to lead to this like particular kind of archetype for me to embody. And so that, yeah, I also want to say that I think that this is a great oracle because one of the changes that I am intentionally making, that I'm choosing to make, is to like embrace, what may be considered quote unquote, like, bad girl archetypes. So this is going to be interesting to see what the outcome is. The maid. Oh, interesting. And the maid. Wow, that's interesting. So I feel like this is about observing and cleaning. And I guess what I'm thinking of immediately is like the maid that overhears or sees things that she's not supposed to. And maybe that's what I'm going to be discovering, things that maybe I didn't think were meant for me to discover. And also this idea of like cleaning house and getting rid of things. I've been really inspired watching Thea of Garden Goddess Tarot. She's doing a deck declutter series. So I'm sure many of you that watch me also watch Thea. So I'm just really inspired by how she's talking about her deck declutter. It's just making me think. I really love a deck declutter because it really just makes you think about things. And cleaning house is something, like, I'm not ready for that right now, but I think I'm in the like beginnings of that sort of thing, of like clearing house. But right now I think it's mostly like a mental thing. But maybe that's where this comes in, where also I'm immediately thinking here of like this class dichotomy, this class division, the maid versus the wealthy miser. Interesting combo here. This really feels, this level here, at least these three, feel very connected, obviously, to the divine, to, a source outside of humanity. And then here, this feels more like the grounded sort of like human connection, starting here with this like human connection to my past and my lineage, my ancestors, and then carrying on with like actual physical things here. And then the outcome is going to be, really like, I think discovering maybe some secrets behind the closed doors, and then cleaning house, mind, maybe actual things are gonna change. And what I think what's so like feels so cool to me is that this choice, this Valkyrie card that reminds me that like I'm doing this, like I've chosen to this change. It's not just all happening to me, which is how I have felt for so long with circumstances in my life that I've had to change without wanting to. And now I think maybe I want to make some changes, but I'm still like on a discovery of what that will be. Wow. Okay. Okay, that's it. That is the transformation spread from the Seasons of the Witch Samhain Oracle. You guys enjoyed the oracles, October oracles, and this reading. Let me know if you did it alongside me and what you think. As always, love to hear from you. Thank you so much for sticking with me, and I hope that you all have a beautiful, wonderful day. Bye.